Hi everyone, this is Brad from Board Game Geek. I'm here with Ted Alsbach at the Bezier Games booth here at Gen Con 50, and we're going to check out Werewords, which is a game you guys are showing off here that uses an app a lot like One Night, Ultimate Werewolf, and others. Can you tell us a little bit about the game?
Yeah, absolutely. So in Werewords, it's a word game that also has a social deduction / werewords element to it. The way the game works, real simply, is one player has a magic word that everyone else is trying to guess. If everyone guesses it, they win. Great. Unfortunately, one of the players that's supposedly trying to guess is actually a werewolf who is trying to make sure they don't guess the word. So he's trying to take them off track and prevent them from guessing the word. If the players don't guess the word by the end of the time that's here, then they have a chance to still win by identifying who the werewolf is, who was taking them off track and asking maybe bad questions or wrong questions, that sort of thing. So it makes it tough for the people playing. Fortunately, they have a seer who also knows the word and is trying to help out by asking questions that get closer and closer to the actual word. However, she has to be really careful because if they do get the word right, at the end the werewolf can still win by identifying who the seer is. So there's kind of two different stages to the game. One is figure out what the word is or not, and then based on what happens there, the team that didn't get that, that didn't win on that, gets to have a second chance at winning by identifying basically one of the two players on the other team.
So I'm guessing a lot like One Night and others, this game uses the app as kind of the moderator, so you don't have to have someone be that role?
Yes, absolutely. So this is a game that actually requires the app. The app's free on iOS and Android, phones and tablets. Okay. The way it works is you're just going to select the roles that are in the game, similar as you do in One Night. And there's actually no other prep necessary. At that point, you can just go ahead and press play. And I'm just going to run through it super fast on here.
Sure.
And I'll turn it up as much as possible. So what's happening right there is the mayor, who's the person who knows the word. He is basically, the first thing he does is he says what role he is. The really cool thing about this game is the mayor can actually has a secret role, just like all the other players.
Okay.
And so normally he is a villager or the seer, but he could actually be a werewolf, meaning that he doesn't want them to guess the word. And so he may choose a harder word and not to do that, or he may answer the questions they're asking him in an interesting way. He could even lie if he wants to. He has to be careful because at the end everyone's going to see the word. They're going to know if he was lying or not before they vote on who the werewolf is. But let's for now just say he's a villager and he wants the village to win. At that point, he can choose from a number of words, depending on the level of difficulty. This is on the easy difficulty here. Okay. So he gets two different words to choose from, whichever he thinks is easier. So we're going to choose toothpick. That seems like it would be pretty easy to do. So the app says, just to verify, this is the word you chose, in case you mistapped or something. So the mayor sees that. That's great. He closes his eyes. Then, next, the app asks the seer to open her eyes. So whoever the seer player is, she opens her eyes. She sees the word. So she knows what it is, and she can try and help out the village with that. Then she closes her eyes. Next, we have any werewolves that are playing. They go ahead and open their eyes. Now, you can have one or two werewolves, depending on how many players you have. In this case, we have it set up for two. They see what the word is, and they're going to try and make sure that you don't guess the word. They're going to do whatever they can to stop you from guessing the word that way, without being too obvious. Of course, they don't want to get caught. Once that's done, everyone opens their eyes, and now there's 4 minutes to figure out the word. Now, the cool thing about that is that only took like about a minute, maybe not even a minute, to go through that nighttime phase, whereas One Night, you've got a lot of rolls. Like, it can take a little longer. There's more stuff going on. Yeah. So the night phase is really, really brief here. You can set as much time as you want to. We found 4 minutes is a really good time. At that point, they have that much time to figure out the word. And there's tokens in the game that the mayor is handing out because he can't speak. We found that if he could speak, he could have a lot of information, his intonation of no, like no, like if it's closed or something like that. So he just has tokens, yes or no tokens, and some maybe tokens. If he runs out of those tokens, they lose. So they can't ask a lot of questions or do anything silly like, let's start with an A, let's start with a B, let's start with a C, because they have to give out tokens. Every time someone asks a question, he has to give them a token. If they run out, they lose. Let's say they get it correct. He gives a correct token, so the player gets it correct. And now at this point, it says, hey, great, you've discovered it. The werewolves, they flip their cards up so everyone sees who they are. And now they are both looking for the seer. Okay. And each werewolf gets to pick a different person to try to find the seer. So they have 2 chances to find that player who's the seer. So the seer had to be really careful about how to help out people without getting caught. Okay. But still, her job is to do that, to make sure that they can figure out the word. So they got 30 seconds to discuss that. Eventually they'll vote. And you count, whoever has the most fingers pointed at them turns their cards over. Well, in this case, the werewolves, two people turn their cards over. They found the seer. The werewolves won, even though the village found the word, because they killed off the seer. If the other way happens, then everyone is looking for the werewolves. They just find a werewolf, majority voting like in One Night. And so that's the basic stuff in the app in terms of how it runs through. But the really cool stuff is happening underneath here. So first of all, we've got 10,000 words divided up into a whole bunch of categories. So 4 different levels of difficulty. So we got easier words, medium, hard, and of course ridiculous words. So I'll just show you what ridiculous words look like because that's always fun. And people will play depending on their skill level and also how much fun they want to have. They may choose this because ridiculous words aren't impossible. They're just, wow, how are you going to get there through 20 questions? So here it's going to come up with 5 because you're in the harder difficulty level. So yeah, an outrigger canoe, yeah, I might be able to get it. I don't even know what some of these things are. Pasteurization and a cost. A cost would be really tough. If you're a werewolf mare, you're going to choose that one because, boy, who's going to guess that? How are you going to get someone to get to that point? So it's a lot of fun. On top of that, though, we've added all these awesome options here. You can actually define exactly how many words the mare sees. If you're playing with young children or, well, I use my mom as an example. Really old people, she'll love to hear that. That have less of a frame of reference, maybe popular culture or just other things that you may not share the same frames of reference. It's hard sometimes to find a word that you think everybody at the table will know. Okay. You know, the younger the children are, the older the adults are, that can a lot of times you have a disconnect. And so you can actually set it up so that you can always have 5 words, even on the easy difficulty level, so the mayor has a better chance of finding something that he thinks everybody's going to be able to get to. Okay. Which is kind of nice. We have it set to auto, which is a little more challenging. So the mayor is a little more limited in what they can do by default. So if you're playing with like a bunch of gamers in their 20s and 30s or whatever, they're probably going to have a similar frame of reference. And it's a little more fair that way. So you can adjust that for difficulty. You can also just change the difficulty level here, of course, like we did on the other thing, to those different things. And finally, you can actually add and upload new word lists. Oh, wow. So you can create your own. Just go ahead, you can type them in, you can paste them in. You set the difficulty of those lists so that they'll come up when you have different difficulty levels selected. Thank you. You can also upload lists that other people have made. So if you go to werewords.com, we actually have the site set up there for people to basically upload their word lists, and then you can download them directly from the app. So you can go to werewords.com, it'll automatically fill that in there, and you can actually create them. So we've put some up there from Bezier Games. Okay. We've done movie lists. So there's 2,000 some words in these movie lists here. Wow. Of these 4 different difficulty levels. So you can turn those on, and if it's like this, it'll mix in a lot more of those movie things in with the regular words, so you more often get movie things than not. Okay. Or you can just go strictly movies in this case. And now all the words are always related to movies. There are actors and titles and scenes and props and studios. I mean, all sorts of things.
So you could theoretically set up your own custom themed games based around like a property that you like.
Absolutely. So one of the first ones that we saw that someone loaded was Pokemon, which was hysterical. This was something we just never thought about. Because obviously there's hundreds of Pokemon. And not only that, but they did their Pokemon abilities. So there's other stuff. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Pokemon words. It's awesome that someone uploaded that list to those, and they're playing with that. If you know your Pokemon, I don't know them that well, then they can have a blast with that sort of thing. So anything that's a specialty type of thing that you and your friends do, someone can upload the words. And even if you're the one who uploaded the words, that doesn't really give you an advantage here because everyone around you knows what those words are, right? So it's still getting to the right word from that, which is a lot of fun.
That's awesome. I really love this take of mixing, a word game with the werewolf mechanics and really bringing new people in, I think, in a way that maybe werewolf doesn't maybe hit all types of gamers, but there's definitely word gamers that may find this fun take on word games pretty exciting.
The whole idea with word games is it seems like it has more of a universal appeal. And I think one of the toughest things with word games is there is always that disconnect between people who are, excellent they have an amazing vocabulary, they have, tens of thousands of words in their vocabulary, and people who don't, who are just, they're not as well read, they just don't have those words. I'm struggling to come up with words right now, so I'd be on the lower end of that spectrum right up here right now. But because you can change difficulty level, because you have bigger choice of words, it makes it kind of fair for everyone. And so we've played with, older folks and younger folks at the same table. A guy just stopped by saying he was playing with his daughter and like 6 of her friends, and they're all like preteens, and they were having a blast. And it was fair for all of them, even though he's twice their age. It was still fun for all of them to play at the same time. And it's a word game, which is really hard to do with a lot of games that have cultural references and things like that that will happen here.
Cool. Well, thanks for sharing this with us, and so people can pick it up now, I guess?
It's available now. You should be able to get it through stores, online, of course here at the show. Yeah, it's everywhere.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.